Mm, I when I graduated as a mother, it was in a ceremony that happened after about 2 years of preparation, which I did mostly alone. I had a couple of calls with you, Susanna, that really made a difference. An EHP I remember very distinctly. And I remember being in a call where you showed me your mother graduation certificate and told me about your mother graduation. And this fueled me for, fueled my commitment to create my own mother graduation. And finally in March of 2022, to check my own certificate, I had my mother graduation and I invited Paula to come, and she came. She came 3 hours drive to where I
Oh,
lived, and came for early and stayed overnight, and we had some beautiful extra time together. And then in December of last year, Paula let me know that she was ready to start creating her own mother graduation. And she asked me to be her coach. And really the word coach didn't work so well for me. I wanted to be alongside her on this adventure. So I played with some other words like Sherpa or accompaniment, and I got to have calls with her almost every week. For a while, there was another woman coming who was also working toward her mother graduation, and then in not that many weeks ago, really, though it seems a long time ago, I traveled to where she lives in Edmonton, near Edmonton in Western Canada, to be at her mother graduation. And then a week or two later, we had a final kind of wrap up call. This purpose for our collaboration had been fulfilled, and we had one more call. And I asked her about her next steps, and then she asked me about mine.
mm.
And I was like, whoa, oh wow. And I wanted this space to exist. I wanted a space to exist where she and I, with other mothers who have graduated, come together and invite anyone else who wants to come to hear the legends of mother graduation, and then create next steps. Oh, Erica's phoning me, and I will decline. And so I reached out to Susanna and to Erica, who just phoned. I'm guessing she has, oh, she doesn't have the Zoom link. Suzanne, will you send?
I will send it. Yeah, I give it to her.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'd like to ask, how old are your children? Like, how old were your children when you did the graduation?
Ooh, thank you for asking. I will say more about that in a
Mhm.
moment. And and generally how this will go was I want each of the graduated mothers to tell some of the, I mean, to tell the full legend would probably take hours really to do it justice, but to share the bones of it, and then Elizabeth, I would love to have you ask any more questions you might have, and I might have questions too for each person. So we have an hour and a half in total, and we're about 10 minutes in. So how about each graduated mother? Hello, Erica. Welcome.
Hello.
I'm glad
Hello,
you're
Erika.
here.
Hello.
Hello.
How about each graduated mother take about 5 minutes to tell a clean, clear, snappy version of your mother graduation, and less the logistics and more the juiciness. And then there'll be some time for questions, and then there'll be some time for this dangerous, delicious question about next steps.
Mm. Will you time us or give us an
I
indication too
will.
of, because of course 5 minutes.
Stretch or shrink.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a stopwatch and I will hit start as soon as I know who's gonna go first.
I jump in first.
Thank you. Go.
For me, my daughter is now 25, and I've been a single mother most of her life. So when she was 3 years old, I separated, and so I became a single mother. And a connection with a daughter and a single mother is very close. It's too close. It's really almost as one. Because, okay, my parents, they were my parents. There was a lot of community around. There was also, her father was also present. But there's this connection is very close. And there came the first Corona lockdown. And the first Corona lockdown, it happened that Clinton and Anne-Chloe were also in Ravensburg. They were stranded in the town where I was living. And during this lockdown, it became obvious because we kind of made some strolls and everything together. We could meet in the outside, we could not meet indoors, but we could meet outdoors. And so it became obvious that my daughter and I were still too close. We were kind of as glued together, moving together. And then Clinton gave me an ultimatum and said, either you make your daughter happy and you make this go into this mother graduation, or you keep her unhappy, glued to yourself. It's you have to make the cut. You have to cut. It's not, you cannot. So because I was kind of complaining about her not leaving home, not doing her own things. Okay, and then I had no preparation time. It was not like with you, Nicole, that you had really good preparation. He gave me an ultimatum and said, next week we are doing the mother graduation. And then I went through a week of really washing machine. I had so much fear. I had really a lot of fear. And then we broke the rules of the Corona lockdown. So because we met in my place, it was Clinton, Anne-Chloe, my dear, very close friends. It was 4 very close friends also. And then we had the ceremony here, and we were singing together, and I was crying for the whole time. My daughter was out, she couldn't be there. So it was only us, the adult. And I was crying the whole time for the whole graduation ceremony. And the legend is that I really managed to let my daughter go after the ceremony. And I also cut the financial ties. I stopped mothering her. We really made contracts. Afterwards, I also had a coaching with a friend, with Martina Ricarda. And we made a contract where we meticulously listed whoever is doing what in the house, who is contributing what's the duty, who is cleaning, who is and so on, who is shopping, how we do the financial stuff. And when this Corona thing ended, my daughter moved out. So, and now she is totally, it's separated. Yeah, it's not the heart bond is still there, but the glue is gone.
Mm.
So
Wow.
that's the short story.
Thank
I
you.
do not, when I see other mothers, I do not think so much about her. I do not worry. I do not ever worry about my daughter. I do not kind of enter her space, or this is all gone. It's the mother graduation, and our space is separated. So I really, really recommend to do the graduation process. It's a magic process. It's an energetic cutting and setting the child free so she can do her own life. She can go into her own life. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's 5 minutes. Susanna, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will go next. For me, the time was much more preparation before, and also the time after mother graduation took its time to realize what is happening. And when I heard to Susanne, I just sensed that in my case it was different. I had I got the impulse also from Anne-Chloé 2 years ago at the Expand the Box training, and then it worked inside of my bodies for I think more than 1 year, or almost 1.5 years, preparing myself emotionally, energetically, and also talking with my children. And after mother graduation, it was like there were also been steps, letting the children go. In my case, they lived with me after I have got 2 children, a daughter, she's 24 years old, and a son, he's 21 years old. And I separated from their father now 6 years ago, and they stayed with me at my home. And so we also got close together in that time after separation. And what I want to say is that yesterday evening I had a call with my daughter when I really could see that this glue you were talking about, Susanne, was really cut off, because it took this time for all this. My mother graduation was last year in November, and there have been layers and layers and layers and conversations between me and especially my daughter, because mother and daughter relationship is for me is a bit closer than to the son. My son moved out earlier than my daughter, and we also had a form of, yes, we realized that there is a codependency between me and my daughter. And yesterday I could talk to her, and she was really angry about me, and I celebrated that, because this was the power it needed to cut this off, to cut this dependency off, because she was also she's financially dependent on me and my ex-husband. And this was energetically still in our relationship. So I could change when I was just yesterday taking my sword and holding this, also her anger again, her anger she had. And it was afterwards, it was like, wow, there was happening something. There was really happening something now. And she said she feels sad, and she also feels happy about that. And she was angry about me that I didn't say this a couple of years before. So she said it would have helped her when I have done it earlier. But that's how life is, and I'm happy that it happened. Yes, and I have this night I couldn't sleep, because I have had so much fear inside me. I would have had the fear about dying, and I couldn't breathe, because it was like really there's changing something. Yes, and this is really, yeah, this is what is my what is now, what is happening now at this moment, and it's really moving inside me, and it's I feel a lot of emotions because of this step I have done. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica.
Okay, so it's my turn. So
Oh.
yes, my name is Paula. I think where I want to begin is the moment where the longing to graduate from being a mother, where it happened for me. I was traveling with my youngest daughter in Greece, and she was invited along and it was this moment where we had been separated for a year. She went to move with her dad, and it was this moment of coming together again, and then also joining a women's dance collective. So I was going to Greece for a dance, and my daughter got to accompany me. And in that dance, I just really got to touch my sexual energy again. And I was just really recognizing how much sexual energy I still had, how much life I still have inside of my body, and that I could make a choice in how I was directing that creativity and all of that. And I think it was also really important during that time to be with, yes, all of these different women, some of which were older, younger, and my daughter was invited at this feasting table, and during our meals and stuff like that, and they were looking at us as yeah, just like, wow, mother daughter, and then also highlighting me as a mother in transition. So they were already naming these things, like these things were already being set in motion. And then yeah, that was really what sparked the longing to, like, yeah, I really want to walk through this threshold of leaving parts of this mother story, behind, and moving forward. So I kind of talk about this little M and becoming a mother big M, being in service to the living world. I think, yeah, just the legends I really want to share about, like, just, oh my goodness, how powerful it was to have Nicole along in that weekly journey of just having this somebody who has been through it, and just not having to actually always start at ground zero and talk about what this mother graduation thing was. It was really powerful to have a woman who was already, there was a baseline of language. And I just felt like my preparation, like even Erica, I remember speaking to you of, like, just when that first little moment where, like, at Christmas time, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna say something to both of my daughters that, a change is coming. And it was just so powerful to be the initiator of that change. And so I'm really grateful to those who have come before me. Like, just again, the story or the thread is this thing of lineage, just how powerful it is to have had women who have gone before me. And then also to know that, now I get to be among the graduates, like that. Wow, what would it be like to have somebody, approach me in this capacity? So I feel really proud about that. Yeah, and I feel like I'm still in the initial, like, it's lots has changed since my graduation. So, like, I'm still in the weeks just after. I'm still in the afterglow of it. I've just feel lots of shifts in both of in my space, in my daughter's space, where maybe I was hookable, I'm not hookable. Like, my daughters are still, I guess, chronologically young, 18 and 15. But I really notice noticing how we have all launched into our paths in a, yeah, just with our feet are solid on the ground. I really love this. The heart bond is still there, and just these distinctions in our spaces are strong. And I think we can acknowledge that in one another's spaces. Such a big part of my mother graduation part was learning the skill of asking. I know in one of the things in my graduation, I had gifted every woman a river stone. And I remember kind of coming out in front of everybody and going, oh my goodness, like this is the thing I've been longing for the most, to be held, witnessed by other women, to be uplifted by other women. And, you know, I was like kind of thinking about the stone, like how many times or how many lifetimes has this throne been cast my way? Have I been stoned, or have I been, you know, kind of betrayed by women, or all of these other things? Like, I just recognized that the thing I longed for the most was the thing I feared the most, and how I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it without the women who showed up before, during, and now in the aftermath of it. I've been really completely changed by just seeing, wow, the power of the collective of the women. Yeah, that's where I will end today.
I love it. I'm going to tell a completely different version of the legend of my mother graduation after hearing each of you tell versions of each of yours, and just really get this. Each mother graduation is so distinct and unique because the mother who creates it for herself creates it from the necessity of her life. I also kind of got the call from Clinton and Anne Chloe, you know, highly recommending that I do mother graduation, because I was using mainly my eldest son as a kind of anchor into my old life. I was trying to be his mother still, and it wasn't working. He was already, you know, in his late 20s, and he was a heroin addict, and he was homeless. And so to do something so, like, to really tear the bandage off and not be glued like I was terrifying, because what if he died, and what if he died because I didn't do something? It was so intense. I have 4 children. He's the eldest now. He is 33. And then he has a younger brother, and then his eldest sister is 22, and his youngest sister is about to turn 17. And my 2 daughters each have the same father, and they have been living with him almost exclusively now for, about 7 or 8 years, and certainly exclusively for the last 4 years. And I was new to possibility management when I first got this possibility to create for myself a mother graduation. And for me, it started with the study group with Clinton and Anne Chloe, just learning possibility management, Rage Club, doing the 333 initiation, getting my nervous system back, getting my energetic body essential parts of it back, learning that I have a box and it is made of all of these survival strategies, including my identity as mother, as a good mother, as a mother who did things right and did things wrong. And to make this shift, the mother graduation was like this milestone up ahead, and I, like, at this threshold, and I, in all my bodies, there was this sense that the closer I got to it, and when I could finally step over it, by then a whole new world of possibility would become available to me. And I, I made my way there very much alone, very much determined to create this expansive effect for myself, and to have had the power of mother graduation be so obvious to me. It came with really getting that this wasn't just about me, it wasn't just about my children, it was so much more about this initiation existing, yes, for me, and yes, for the consequences to my children and for other women. I started to see mothers so differently. I started to see these, like, really sticky, gooey ways that their children were trapped, and that the mothers were trapped.
Mm.
And this doorway into something, into a world where that's not what was going on. And yes, maybe still it goes on sometimes, or in some ways. And yet the mother graduation was about me bringing tools into my tool belt, having processes that got stuff out of my system. And I want another one. Because so much has happened since my graduation, mostly with my eldest son, but also with my two daughters. And I've learned so much, and it's a lot like going to university. You can get your first degree, and then you can get a master's, and you can get a PhD, and I have earned a PhD. And what I have so far is a certificate. And I
Oh,
love
how
this. I
beautiful
love
is
this
this?
artifact. I commissioned an artist, and I told him what I wanted, and he made this. And when I held it in my hands, the world was different than it had been. And each time I pick it up and look at it, yeah. And then I want more. I want to graduate further. And I want the world to hear about it. I want mothers everywhere to hear about, this is possible for you. You can create it. No one will do it for you, and no one can stop you doing it. And I am on your team. I am on mothers' teams.
It's almost as if, so it takes some time until you become a mother, all the pregnancy and early childhood. And so you somehow learn to become a mother. And then it also needs an unlearning or a finishing of the cycle. So for me, okay, I'm kind of a mother, but I'm a different mother than before. I'm not responsible anymore. Definitely. Also financially not. I'm not messing with the life of my daughter at all. And so it's really a rite of passage. It's really a finishing of a cycle.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you are on this path, so to go for the next step. So what would you think? What would be the next step after having graduated for some years, or maybe 1 year or half a year?
Yeah. This is what so turned me on, and this is why I designed this next steps part into our call today, because it's it's so accurate what you say, Susanna, that, and I started becoming a mother very young. I wanted children from as young as I can remember. I wanted to become a mother, and I did, and how it happened. There's so much to it, and unbecoming that modern culture fantasy mother, and healing from the pain of my failure as a mother, and it's I don't know if it will ever end. I will be graduating into my next job from Gaia over and over, and to create a ceremony, it, it does still seem like it would be named a mother graduation. And yeah, I'm living in this question. And I think there will be many next steps. And coming out of this call, I want them to be clearer. Elizabeth, do you have any questions? And Paula, Susanna, Erica, too.
Yeah, Elizabeth, can you share a bit about your necessity? Where are you at?
Yeah.
Oops. Now you're gone, Elizabeth.
I have a sense she'll be back.
I see her video is off, but her microphone is on. We eagerly await hearing your voice, Elizabeth. And maybe she can't hear us.
Yeah. She's off.
She's disappeared all the way.
So the question would be, for me, would be, okay, now there is, what about the experience we have with the graduation, also with the cycle of motherhood from the beginning to the end, like to the end, or maybe whatever the end is. What can we do with that?
I can share what's happening in my space in terms of what, I don't know if it's what I'm doing with it, but I'm just noticing what's happening in terms of just being able to recognize when thresholds are happening in other people's lives. And I think it's a consequence of the mother graduation. So the example I want to share is one friend who is, she's 15 years younger than me. She went home to her parents in another part of the country, and she is contemplating, thinking about doing a child graduation. So, she wants to make that distinction with her parents. So she's initiating another form of graduation, but for me, this speaks the volumes of what happened for her during the mother graduation.
And this is who was there.
Yeah, a person who was there, and another person who was present at my mother graduation. We are doing a book study on menopause. And she is recognizing about all these things in her menopausal experience that didn't happen. And we are doing, a 6-week book study on menopause. And I can already see these possibilities of rewriting that story, or telling it in a different way, or collecting the parts of the things that didn't happen in her own time. So I see a skill set now that I have, and that I want to make visible to others, about, that you actually can go back and in doing the EHPs and doing all of these pieces, that you can rewrite the story, and something really powerful happens when you name a threshold and you choose, and you. So this is now me with some skills to Sherpa, to accompany, to support, and I just wouldn't necessarily even limit it to a mother graduation. There's just something about thresholds I know in my bones now.
And what I love to hear is that you can also go back in time and heal this, what has not happened.
Yes.
Yeah, when you did not pass the threshold within a ritual way, just in a casual, it happened. And I love this. It seems that this is in your archetypal lineage. It sounds so archetypal.
Yes.
Yes, what you just said, Susanne, I remember that when I did my mother graduation, the relationship to my own mother also changed because of this commitment I had with my children. And then I could get more clarity about how I want to be in relationship with my own mother, and set borders. And it is also, this relationship turns in like, there is more, I don't know the English word, Verständnis. Do you know it, Susanne?
Understanding, yeah.
Understanding. Yes, understanding on both sides that we are individuals and there's not this role play anymore, and it got much more relaxing. I feel more relaxed in relationship with my mother, and this is what also changed when I was preparing myself for the mother graduation. Before I did it already, it was with wage work, and I really did exercises, and yes, my box, I just could expand my box when I was communicating with my own mother during preparation, because she was sometimes asking what I am doing there, and she could not really understand what I am doing. And this was, for me, I just could stand for it. It was my decision to do this, and this had influence on my children, on my mother, and also I think it has influence. It influences also other generations in the past, and also which are following my children. So this is very powerful. And how you said, Paula, the women who have been there at the graduation, at the celebration, also got an impulse. What I got there was, some women have been irritated, or they got fear about that, or also no women, they said, oh, I also want to do the mother graduation. And afterwards they said to me, oh, I need my time. I have got so much fear about that. I don't want to do it that fast, because yes, it's quite challenging. So this is what happens in my field and in my surrounding about that.
Yeah, I get this also. I can testify to that the women say, yes, this would be fine, but not for me now. I need some more time. My children are still so young, and they are getting older, and they are 18 and 20, and oh no, I cannot do it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And we are all women here are making different experiences, and this is also the wide, how do you say, Paula and Susanne and you, Nicole, and I, we have different experiences with our mother graduation and with our relationships we have with our children. And this is how it is. It is an individual yes, individual state, yes, decision doing this, and an individual way doing this as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I I saw that on Facebook yesterday. Clinton had shared the the Rage Club for Mothers that Marina Milo and Sarita are offering, and I think he said something so succinct. It was something like, "The anger of mothers is changing the world," and this I think this is why it did take me some time before I could create the threshold for myself, could create the initiation chamber in the here and now, because there was so much anger about how things had gone for me and mother. So many things were missed in my own childhood, in the forming of my family, in my children's childhood, and most of what was missed was initiation.
Mm.
Initiation and then celebration that this change had happened,
Yes.
and catching up on those, like amending what was missed, so that there, I can't change the past, and I can change the consequences of the past and how I am now and how I relate to the story. And this for me was a huge part of my mother graduation process, was learning to tell my mother story as an empowering story, rather than
Yes.
telling it as a victim. And
Yes.
I think this is something else that is alive for me about wanting another initiation, because I more clearly than ever see my victim addiction. And and I did this one layer of getting the victim story and the my old voice, growing myself up so that I could and would become a graduated mother. And I'm still doing that. Paula, when you speak about someone wanting this, it's like, this is what I hear. They want to grow up. And so how cool they would create an initiation for themselves to say, I am no longer a child.
Yes.
And this is what my preparation was full of, these initiation processes, the emotional healing processes. Every time I did 333, 3 minutes of anger 3 times a week for 3 months, I did 3 years of 333 almost back to back, because I still had growing up to do. I still have growing up to do. And how this fits in with the shift of culture that is happening, where matriarchy and patriarchy have run their course and a new culture is emerging. And as a possibilitator, I call this culture archiarchy. And it is a culture that with initiation in the center, because it comes as each individual initiates themselves and is initiated into the next evolutionary step or stage or state. And then even I've been noticing how often people say Mother Earth. And I notice that I want to say Gaia. I don't want to say Mother Earth. I don't want the earth even to be my mother. I don't want the woman I live with to be mothering me. I want to be collaborators with the entity, my birth mother, and with the morphogenetic field of Mother Earth. I want to be a collaborator as part of her, as coming from her, yes, and being with her. And for me, it paints this, it's sparkling rainbow colored bridge into humanity's a bright future for humanity on Earth. And it's a bridge where each step is made of initiation and made of preparation for initiation, and then made of integration after initiation. And it's initiations within initiations and experiments within experiments.
What I want to point out is that the initiation process is very mighty when there are people who already did the initiation.
Yeah.
When there are space holder or people present who have bring from their own initiation the matrix, or maybe also the lineage, like kind of the blessings of the lineage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's always, there seems to be that with that, there's also this, I don't know how it will go this time. What do you want? And really this question, what do you want? What do you want to exist? What do you want to create? What do you want to become? And and there's still mystery in it.
Yes, every time.
Yeah. And I love that there were people that saw the necessity and didn't know what the initiation was and invented it by doing it. And there's a little bit of that in like walking alongside Paula. This, I got, I've been looking for this word, not coach, Sherpa. I love it. And I wrote down co-initiate because I am an initiated, a graduated mother. I've initiated myself into what comes after this job that I got that job from Gaia to birth and carry and raise these children. And I got, before they were really, I mean, who am I to say what the right age a child should be to have their mother not be there mothering them? How it went for me was I was not there. I was not there and my daughters were still quite young. And I still feel anger about that. I feel great anger about this. There wasn't a village. There wasn't a village, and patriarchy ruled, and I let it. And this is, this. So I love the anger that comes, especially when I have grieved and felt the sadness and found my way to grieve what my sadness is really about, not as a victim who's going around and around again and again, telling this story, poor me, but as this, in a way, the sadness of Gaia. It seems like Gaia's sadness that this is how patriarchy is going, is creating what it creates. And then to get to the anger underneath the sadness, where I land somewhere solid, and I'm in my bones, I'm in my body, I'm present, and there's this purpose that I can choose to say yes to a woman asking, will you accompany me as I create mother graduation for myself? I got myself to the mother graduation, even though I had injured my back. And there was this determination. I got access to this anger in my bones, wanting something completely different for Gaia, for mothers, for children, for men, for people of all ages. And really what I want different is initiation. I don't want to rescue anyone and do it for them. I can't.
I want to speak to something I'm also noticing that was really significant in my experience was all of the preparation in particular the EHPs. Because for me, it was like the big piece for me was trusting my body again, trusting my body feeling again. And I am by profession, I was trained as a teacher. So even this word graduation is kind of in the lexicon of school. And really for me, the big part of the whole having the women there, like I did not know right up until until I stepped in front, like I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't have a script. I didn't know what I was going to say. And that was just a big moment for me, like just stepping into what needs to be said in this moment. And even post that evening, I still don't really know what I said. You know what I mean? And I think there was a recording, but I haven't looked at it yet. Maybe I won't, because it's kind of irrelevant what I said. It's just, again, what moved through me. And I know what has shifted for me as, like I said, in these women now who are coming to me in different capacities. I work a lot with the menstrual cycle. And so I now am seeing women who are stepping forward and asking me to be a supportive presence to them. Okay, maybe it's a coach or whatever. I still haven't figured out the word to or the naming to. But again, a big shift for me in the past, I would have, meeting a client, mapping things out, going right into my mental body to like make sure that I'm ready. I slept before this client came and I woke up maybe 10 minutes before. So that's what I'm trusting now, is like I want to be actually empty and open. And I'm actually really proud to say, like, I don't know how it's going to go. Let's see how it's going, There's something about being empty, and this starting over in moment to moment.
Yeah.
That's
And
something,
yeah,
that's something I just really wanted to bring into the space because, like there's this opportunity to be in an issue, like I've passed a threshold and I know nothing and I'm
Yeah.
beginning again.
Yeah.
I hear you saying another way of putting what I hear you saying is about this shift from unconscious space holder to conscious space holder. And as a mother, this was also training for space holding. And it wasn't conscious training, but there was still the necessity meant that each of us as mothers built competence, and maybe it would be unconscious competence, and then to bring more clarity to my incompetence through kind of sifting through my mother's stories, like a way of finding how I was incompetent, and then creating experiments, doing the emotional healing processes that would build the competence that I was missing, so that then I can use that competence for my next job.
so I hear two things coming up as a result from the graduation. There is a kind of becoming conscious about the competence as a space holder that we all have trained for 20-something years as a space holder for children to grow up. So we have really a lot of competence, and this is becoming conscious in the process. And the second thing is what I hear from you, Paula, that by transitioning consciously, like going over the threshold, it's a start over process. It's really a process where you go into the land of not knowing. And I'd also say a land of no identity, or at least a big identity you gave back, we gave back. So it's a blank slate. What is it? What is it now that we are not mothers in a patriarchal sense anymore? Yeah.
Yes. And for me, it is also an aspect how to be in a relationship with my children, how does this work to be in relationship with my daughter and my son without being mother? And these are steps I am now finding out more and more. And what was really important for me that I was, yes, informing my children about this, that is for me necessary that I get feedback from them when they sense that I use my old mother patterns when I am in contact with them. And now it works more and more better with that. When my son visits me, it happens that I am in an old pattern, and then he remembers me, mother, or says my name, Erica. Now I feel like as if I'm a small boy, and I want to change this now. And then we change and do a do-over. And it is so expanding this relationship. Then it's also so more love in this relationship then. And I feel that it's getting more and more adult between me and my children. And there are also steps. It doesn't really you do the mother graduation and then everything is different. No, there are steps, and it needs also that your children cope with you, that they also are interested in changing the relationship and communicate in this sensitive way, and just feel in what is happening now, what is now happening, and then talk about this. And this is where I am standing with my children, that we are able to talk about these patterns and to change this. And I celebrate this because it is really different comparing with what I had with my parents. So it is really a big step I'm doing, and it changes a lot for me, and also with the relationships I have with other people, with friends, with not also my children. So there's happening a lot. Yes.
I'm really appreciating this ongoing tending that you are doing, and I'm hearing it in all of the spaces here of this. Yeah, like especially with our children, just the enormous opportunity we have to continually revisit the patterns and to get clearer and clearer in how and how we step away from the old and into the new.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. That's because I'm in like just the first few weeks, and I'm really glad to hear that. That's really landing.
So this new form of communication, I observed it also. And for me, it's now some years, so the novelty has somehow worn off. It's kind of natural that my daughter gives me feedback. She gives me feedback, or she sets a boundary. For example, you didn't listen to me, or can you say this in a different way? It's not landing, and so on, and so on, and so on. It's really an intimate conversation on eye level. There's no hierarchy in our relationship. And on the other hand, she knows me so well. She knows me better than anybody else. So she can really point out, get directly to the point, especially seeing my gremlin. She is specialist. She is master in seeing my gremlin. And she gives me feedback on that. And in such a loving and precise way, so that I can take it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and I do not know of any other relationship, of any other mother-child relationship in my closer surroundings, which is so relaxed. I highly recommend the mother graduation here. I don't know what I would have done without that.
Yes.
I'd be miserable, like so many mothers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to come back to your initial question, Nicole. What would be the next graduation level? What could be the questions? What could be the experiments? I heard you saying about Gaia, talking about Gaia, leaving this idiom of Mother Earth behind.
Yeah. Yeah, this goes with I'm creating a new website, and my old website, it was Nicole Hartley Bradford Awakening the Village. This was my game world. This is what I was calling my game world. And after some questions and a possibility space with Jacqueline McNeil, the phrase that's coming over and over is becoming Gaia, becoming Gaian, becoming Gaian.
Mm-hmm.
And when a few months ago, also Clinton and Anne Chloe created a website called Ambassadors of Archiarchy, or Embassy of Archiarchy, and said, you're on here. And my box, like, it's almost as if my box suddenly disappeared or something for a few moments, where as in this identity of ambassador for archiarchy, or ambassador from archiarchy, I was what I am, and I was not my box. And I kind of come in and out of that. So this is central. My experience as a mother is central to what I've been becoming my whole life. And maybe I'm taking all the next steps. And in the mother initiation kind of terrain, in terms of next steps, I mean, it will be pretty literal to take this recording, to send you each a copy, to have it go out in the world as seeds, so that it can land and maybe be, maybe in the next mother graduation legends and next steps call, there will be 8 women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what about creating this? What about creating this mother graduation Sherpa thing? Like 3 months of preparation, or how much time would one need? How much time? Is it 3 months, or is it 6 months, or?
I think this is, in a way, this is one of the things that is in the way of of me offering it is because for different women it takes different amount of time, and it worked. As I was saying, when Paul and I started meeting, another woman asked to join also, and she joined for maybe just short of 3 months, and she had committed to 3 months, and now she's moved her attention. She's focusing on something else. And from time to time I see her and she says sometimes, I haven't forgotten about this. It's still on my bench. It's just other things are more urgent right now.
Yeah, but I'm really thinking about somehow it could also be only the spark, like initiating the process. Like a rage club also only initiates the journey.
Yeah.
So what would be what could be a program or something to offer as an outcome from our call also? Is it a one-on-one like process for some months, or is it kind of a counseling, or is it a group program, or is it not on your bench? On whose bench is it?
Yeah, I have something on my bench. I already have on my website this offer for Mother Graduation Adventure, and it says a 3-month commitment with or without other mothers who are also on the path toward mother graduation. And so far the next person hasn't come and said yes.
So I have the impression that it is the necessity is not so clear. It's not yet in the space how big an impact this graduation can be.
Yeah.
As I hear from all of you that it has been a really big impact. So it probably needs some more spreading out of the word, or what, more legends.
Yes.
Mm.
You saying that reminds me about how, I mean, the impact that happens when a mother graduation happens and the ripples that go out from that, even when it comes to another mother, there can be a yes and then resistance. I think that this is accurate. What you're saying, Susanna, is that it's not yet, the necessity is not yet so clear. And maybe, oh yeah, this scares me. But what I get is to do my next mother graduation, this PhD graduation, and really,
I'm in.
Yeah.
I could think I could. It's probably not being such a long thing, but it needs somehow. I could. It's not going to be a 2 years process for me, but I'd kind of roll up some aspects. I'd like to look at some aspects from my position now. I'd like to look at the aspects on without this emotional entanglement on what mother I have been, what a mother I have been, a young mother. Because it was 25 years, I have been a mother to a baby. I've been a mother to a young child. And I think there is some gold in it.
Mm.
Maybe this process, I think I would like to go through.
Yeah. Yeah, this sounds like a almost a mother graduation treasure research.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Mm.
What
Yes.
really, yeah,
What really?
what really would have helped me in my mother graduation, I did not have an initiated mother on my side. I did not have somebody who has had the experience. So I did it from the completely unknown, and I had the website mystrikingly.com, and this did not really work for me because there was information inside and it was quite abstract. So I did not really have the personal experience from somebody else. I talked to a woman before, but it was not really like she was on my side. It was just one conversation, and she just told me about her own mother graduation. And then I had a talk with Martina Ricarda because we did it on the same time, but we also, she and me, we did it in our individual ways. So it also was not really that I had a woman on my side for feedback and coaching. So this mother graduation I have celebrated, I would now do it completely different than I have done last year. I learned a lot about, there have been some, I would say, mistakes or experiences I have done which did not really feel good. And afterwards I said, okay, I would do this different. For example, I would inform all the women I invited about what is really about this ritual, because I did it in an old way. I just invited them and they came, and I did not really informed every single woman about what is happening before. So there was fear, and there was also anger because they did not know what is happening. And it was, yes, it was an experience. I learned a lot from this. And yes, now I would really do it different. This is what I learned from my mother graduation, and also the necessity that it is really, I think it is gold when you have a woman, initiated woman on your side. Yes, yeah, in your process, preparing for this mother graduation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a way that we can become more visible to people as, you know, as ones who have been initiated. And I know what's becoming more of a necessity for me. I have on my website, I have one of my offerings is ritual offerings. I call myself a ritual practitioner. And I have little, paragraphs on different rites of passage in a woman's life. And I'm just going to continue to look at that particular part of my website and really look at my language, really look at, and I write articles. So I'm going to keep on making those skills somehow, or making myself visible. And highlighting the skills, because I think too about this, maybe the graduation piece can seem big, but again, breaking it down into the smallest of steps. It's like one, it begins with one ritual, and then the space becomes bigger, and the possibilities become bigger. So I think in my conceptualization of this, It's not necessary. Like, I think mother graduation is too limiting. And it can be too big, you know what I mean? But it's like about this finding that real, because the smallest ritual sometimes is like even introducing that into my web of relationships, what a ritual is.
Yeah.
Simple action
Yes.
that is imbued with meaning. And just even getting some, another person connected to that. Oh, okay. Then and maybe there's a willingness to go to the threshold.
Mm.
And I'm thinking about that, Erica, in relation to the fear and anger that you felt in the space, and all of which are like, it sounds like a really important part of your learning, and all of that, and not necessarily that needs to be avoided. And that's just where I'm wondering. It's just like really skilling it down to ritual, what it is, and the potency of it in this arc of initiation.
Do you mean, Paula, that there could be also like another ritual? There could be another ritual which kind of celebrates the process, let's say an anniversary, or and with this ritual, this could be formed like from the experience from the ritual before, which kind of had some flaws, so it could be created differently.
Yes, and I mean, I'm just even thinking, I'm opening up another anger 333 space. So in my network, this is where women are paying me money to be the 333 space holder for anger work specifically. And I'm just now sparked with this idea of, like, again, just bringing up this ritual piece, because in this series, I've called it metamorphosize. So we're going to be doing it in a 14-day spread, because a frog's life cycle happens in a 14-week. So we're going to potentize it. So I'm just imagining, just again, this rituals, again, connecting to a body of water in the times outside of our rage work, and speaking our desires to a body of water. And the ritual act would be our words feeding that body of water and the relationship with the body of water. So it's like this little taste of what's possible when we include ritual in our day-to-day life.
Yeah.
I'm riffing with that, because I think sometimes with initiation, it's so big. It's so big.
I just noticed what I want. And it is this. I want a space like this where I can be with at least 3 other mothers who have done mother graduation, who are in this question of what's the next step. And maybe it's what's the next game world. Maybe it's what's the next mother graduation. Maybe it's what's the next step to make each of ourselves more visible, and then deliver something, maybe as one space holder, as teams of 2, 3, 4. And I propose we meet again to, like, to each take these questions with us, and then converge again to bring what we've discovered, and to bring what's happened, in, I mean, I would love to do it weekly. I feel scared to say that because schedules get full, including mine. And this is something that I'm hungry for. I'm hungry to be with, I was thinking, mature woman, I was thinking, like, I'm hungry to be with other people who somehow have it on their bench and in their archetypal lineage to bring initiation for mothers
Yeah.
of all ages, you know,
My
including
proposal is my proposal is to not meet in next week.
yeah.
My proposal is to have about 4 weeks
Mhm.
Okay.
and to meet again in 4 weeks, because I've got some ideas now and I'd like to work them out, which could be, for example, my next step
Yeah.
in the graduation path.
Yeah.
And I have the idea. I want to go through this. I'm downsizing anyway, and I want to go through all these childhood belongings of my daughter, all the photos, the videos, and everything, and kind of, yeah, do not keep it in 3 boxes. Maybe whatever, scan it, reduce it, go through everything again, and also find myself 25 years earlier, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this could be a next step, because I find that I'm not so much entangled anymore. So I do not beat myself up for being a bad mother or something. That's over.
Yeah.
So maybe I find a new perspective on me as a mother. And that would need some time. I cannot do it in 1 week.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
it. What about in that would it work for each of you to meet again on August 2nd? That might not be 4 weeks, that might be 3.
Wait a minute.
Time?
August 2nd. You mean it's also a Friday?
Yeah. Does this time work?
For me, it works.
It would work for me as well.
It might be a traveling day for me. And I'm okay if the other two, if it works for the 3 of you to have a recording, and I want to continue being on this team, but I'm recognizing it might be a travel day for me.
Yeah.
August is
Okay.
there's a lot of movement in my space, so.
Yeah. That's okay for me. And it's also for me that August, it's very unclear where I am at on Friday 2nd, but
Yeah.
I'm just make it happen.
I'm putting it in my calendar and I will come, and if 1 or 2 or 3 of you are there, great. If not, I will come in a Zoom space and maybe record some kind of report or news about what's happened.
I put it in my calendar, and if nothing really happens, I'll be there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I've written it down now, and I also will yes, see what will be, but it's in my calendar now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may have turned into a frog by then.
Ah.
Perfect. I love
Who
it.
has, by the way, who has access to the Mother Graduation webpage? Do you have, Nicole?
No, I don't.
Okay, then it's with Clinton. If you want to change something or load something up, just in case.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I had communication with Markus Borke about that, because I wanted to translate it in German, but I did not have, I didn't do it. And I don't know if he has access to it. I don't know.
Yeah, so
Yes.
probably it's Clinton. You have to,
Yes.
simply ask it.
Yeah,
Ask
you
him.
ask him. I would love that to be in German.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go.
Yes, but I would write it different because I'm not really, it's not my way of describing a mother graduation, how it is now.
Wow.
Should we do it together, Erika? Would you like to
Yes.
do it with me?
Yes, I would do it together with you.
So it would be a German webpage and it would be different.
It would be different, yes.
I'm very curious.
And maybe Paula, then you and me will translate that German graduation webpage into.
We can make this like, yeah, Erika, why don't we have a call somehow and look at whatever you are up to?
Yes, I want to do brainstorming about that. I need some time to find out what is important for me, and then I would meet you, Susanne.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think it's not good to make a website alone.
No.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
And it's more fun when we write together.
Yeah.
I just discovered I'm writing a codex together, and it's so much more fun than doing it alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this discovery about teamwork and collaboration as the doorway to high level fun and the doorway to things working in ways they couldn't have done before.
Yeah.
So good. Wow.
So we're a few minutes past our time.
Yeah.
Thank you, mothers.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
and women for this time together. And do either of you know Elizabeth?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
I will see if I can find out her contact information.
Maybe she was overwhelmed.
Maybe, yeah. It's known to happen, isn't it? Cool. I wish you a beautiful rest of your Fridays, and I look forward to
Thank you.
seeing
Thank you.
you or not on August 2nd, if not sooner. In another
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for this time together. Very, very rich.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye for
Goodbye.
now.